Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me on NLBP TV. I am Camille Miller, your host, and we are doing another member spotlight with charter member Yuchin Chang of Whole Body Wellness Physical Therapy out of New Providence, New Jersey. Hello, Yuchin. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So tell me a little bit about your physical therapy business and how yours might be a little bit different than some of the other typical physical therapists we might hear from.
Yes, hi.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yeah. So the way I practice with my to approach chronic pain is a little different from other practice in a way that I focus on the whole body approach. So mechanically, so if patient have pain, let's say in the lower back area, so when I treat patients, I put my hands on them and to tease out what's the primary restriction, what is the driver for the pain. So the treatment may or may not be starting right at the lower back area, depends on what is the driver.
Okay.
So we approach the body mechanically in that whole body head to toe approach. And also we focus on the body-mind complex and what's the interaction between them, and provide or empower patients to be able to have the tools so they're able to self-regulate and get to that coherent state. So that would be a good complementary piece for the physical hands-on work.
Okay. So if I was, for an example, like if I was to come to you and I broke my wrist or whatever, right? I'm coming to you afterwards for some type of therapy to get the movement back.
Mm-hmm.
What, now you probably do the same exercises that regular physical therapists do, but when you talk about the mind-body connection, what might you also add to it that would be different in your practice when you talk about the mind connection?
Okay, so our practice focus on complex chronic pain, which includes some pelvic issues.
Oh.
So, and let's say you come to me, you have the pain going, lower back pain, pelvic pain, and you broke your wrist. So when I put my hands on you, and I feel, okay, your wrist is, you have some local restriction, but the area that's really tightest might be, the most restricted area might be your neck or your lower back.
Okay.
So in order to free up the pain that you have in the wrist, which might be, jamming up the nerves in your neck, and that's contributing to the symptom in the hand, because the nerve that innervated the hand is coming from your neck. That's just, as say your neck might be jammed up from the fall. So if I determine that mechanically is in the neck, most restricted areas in the neck, that's where I treat first. And in the process of working on that, if certain part of your brain, your limbic system lit up, that related to the fall, may or may not be, then I need to address that. So I might give patient some exercise where that allow them to connect with their body. So that might be some of the breathing exercises, it might be some of the exercises, very mindful exercises to get patient into more of the meditative state. So that way they're able to first develop the awareness of that mind-body connection exists.
Okay.
And then they, when they're in that state, when they do the exercises, whether it's to stretch or to strengthen their hand, is much more efficient.
Wow, that is very different. So, is there a center of your business or a type of client you tend to work with? You said the pelvic, so I'm assuming women or both?
Both men, women, and occasionally young adult.
Okay.
So they might have some of the bowel bladder, sexual pain, chronic pain anywhere that didn't get better, concussion, widespread pain, just basically pain for years. They've been to other places, didn't get better. So those are the clients that I work with, and I really enjoy working with those individuals.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background, your education, how you got into this line of work.
Sure. So I graduated from University of Delaware,
okay.
Physical therapy department. So I was trained as a mainstream, very joint biased. So my first setting I work with is complex chronic pain, pelvic issue. Excellent. And I realized with the training I have, I don't have a lot of success. I need more. There's not enough knowledge to treat complex patients. So from there, I start to understand a little bit more about the internal organs, the nervous systems, the lymphatic system, the craniosacral system. So from there, I guess my curiosity just kind of led me, and my intention to help people kind of led me into those areas, and to tease out what's the dynamic between different systems and how do you assess them, and how do you work with those patients, and most importantly, how do you empower them when they feel like they got pain everywhere? How do you start? They are the victim of the pain. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't like that.
Yeah. So how long have you start out that way, or how long have you been doing the holistic side of it? Did you start in traditional?
Yeah, I started in traditional for about maybe 5 or 6 years, and slowly transition into kind of, as everything I learn, they don't contradict each other, but they complement each other. So they make the whole picture a little fuller, and makes more and more sense.
Excellent.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah. So what other type of I was going to say like other practitioners or something that you might work in complementary with?
I work a lot with people who that say yoga practitioner.
Okay.
Okay, and then some of mental health practitioners.
Okay.
So some of the patients that they found, they have a lot of emotional pain, but also physical restriction. So those mind-body connections, are quite connected, like trauma victim.
Yeah.
Yeah, things like that, abused.
Yeah.
So a lot. Yoga instructor, mental health practitioner, and also occasionally some energy worker, like people who have some of they feel energetically they get stuck, and then they also have physical pain, so they kind of get stuck at that level. Then so
makes a lot of sense. So someone, well, I guess it would have to be back or something, but they're like a PSTD or something that might be working with a therapist emotionally. Sometimes there's a pain associated, but it's kind of an emotional block.
Yeah.
So that's something that you could work with.
A lot of PTSD and things like that, that you have to, they may express a lot of emotional pain.
Yeah.
But there's a physical connection where from the limbic system of the brain, certain part of the brain, and that go down to the spinal canal and to whichever they may have the pain, where they store the tension. So you might be try to think your way out of it, but if mechanically the nerve is being pinched, or you have a lot of restriction in certain organ, that keeps sending the signal to your central nervous system, and so that's where a patient gets stuck.
Understood.
Yeah, so we're working from that perspective, and also once we release the tension, we do a lot of mental rehearsal. So so how you can use the neurons that fire together, they wire together. So once you freed up the mechanical restriction, then you can have patients to do sort of mental rehearsal combined with the hands-on work. So you're working on their hardware, but also you try to update their software. So,
I love that.
Yeah. So we have a lot of success with people who have sexual pain, men and women, or some men have some control issue or
Okay.
leakage and all that. Yeah.
That
So
makes sense.
yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's a very new twist on it. I love that. Anything else you wanted to mention or that I've forgotten to ask you about that makes you quite unique or you want us to know?
Yeah. So our practice is not exercise based.
Okay.
So just because the clients that we work with, they have complex pain. So the pain that they can exercise out, they probably won't get to see us. A lot of times the restriction is in their insides, let's say in their nervous system, in their organs. So those are the very fragile tissues that your body would not allow those tissue to be stretched. Unlike muscles and the joints, they are designed to be stretched and compressed. So we do very gentle osteopathic hands-on work to address whatever the restrictions are. And then from there, at the end of the session, I give patient homework. So they will practice those routines, whichever they are, as an extension of the treatment.
Wow.
So that's how we do things a little differently in addition to whole body approach and be mindful about the body-mind complex and very approach a system from the very approach a body from central nervous system perspective. So make sure that the individual's able to self-regulate and able to have the tool to manifest to wellness they deserve.
That is fantastic. And I love the different approach to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever get into like diet as well or not really? Does what people eat have to do with any of it or no?
No, but what I would tell people is that yes, what you eat is important, but what state of being when you're eating, that's important too. So because your central nervous system, a lot of the issues are autoimmune. So if your system, if your digestive system is already upregulated, so it doesn't matter. So all the dietary regimen that you're doing is not going to be as effective if your system is calmer. So I told them to work on other things to calm the system down a little bit. At that time might be the best time to assess what kind of dietary regimen they need to be on. So usually from that perspective, but yes, there are certain food better than others, you know, there's no question about it. But under general guideline, I tell them then calm their nervous system down before they want to lock into a specific diet.
Wow. So you are in New Providence, New Jersey?
Yes.
And if people wanted to get in touch with you or learn more about your practice, where is the best way they can find you?
They can either call or they get on the website. So our website is www.wholebodywellness-pt.com, or they can call. The number is 908-361-1113.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today and being a part of our member spotlight.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really enjoy having this community. It's just so supportive and loving. And when I go to one of the gatherings and talk to any of the members, I feel right at home. I don't have to explain myself. We just have that instant connection. So great. Thank you for
I so appreciate that.
Foster such good environment.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.